And similar with clients that I've worked with as well, one of the things that I got pretty much all of them to do, some didn't do it, but most did, and they had tremendous results, was educating the client in the tender bid about what are the key things that they needed. Damien Andrews for Next Gen X Professional for Engineers, and I'm here with Mr. Peter Anthony. How are you today, Peter?
Damien, I'm particularly good because I love engineers and I love working with engineering firms. It's a real passion of mine.
I love that. Yeah, me too. I've worked with a lot of engineering firms and you build a lot of things, and I love some of the bridges and buildings that I get to go in and go, I helped build that. That was really cool. You know, it's just one of those things. But when we're talking about engineering services, it can be a bit challenging today's market, particularly with commoditisation of services. In the market, the client or potential client can perceive that one engineering firm is just like another engineering firm, and if you're the same as everybody else, and you're really competing on price, and that affects your margins. What are some other causes that create this commoditization of services for engineers?
Well, a lot of it, Damien, is tender panels. I mean, a lot of big engineering jobs they come out via tender, whether they're private tenders or public tenders. It might go out to 3, 4, 5 different firms because that might be for compliance reasons. If it's a government bid, or it might just be because the client doesn't really understand the difference between the different firms. They go, oh, here's 3 or 4 big firms, 5 big firms. I'll put the brief out to all of them because I can't really see the difference unless one of them is an incumbent. So one of the things that we like to work with you with is uh, whether you're pitching for individual work or you're going after these tenders and it's competitive, to understand early and often how to craft a value proposition, particularly in the tender environment. Often I see when I'm working on tenders with clients, the tender's written and the executive summary is written last.
Mhm.
And you think, well, maybe the reverse of that's a better approach, because you might say, well, I'm gonna write my executive summary first. That's my value proposition, and then ensure the rest of the tender documents, and that could be a document or it could be volumes of documents. It's that particular value proposition, and that's the difference that makes the difference, because the client, that's the most read part of the bid or tender response, and that's the part that's going to make the biggest difference. So we get to articulate what makes us unique and valuable in a way that the client's likely to prefer. That's one way of doing it. Can you think of another way of doing it, Damien?
Oh, certainly. That's a great way, Peter. I love that you brought that up, because it is certainly fantastic to do and include in your tender bids. And similar with clients that I've worked with as well, one of the things that I got pretty much all of them to do, some didn't do it, but most did, and they had tremendous results, was educating the client in the tender bid about what are the key things that they needed, particularly if you are looking at, for example, government work. Safety is a big criteria there. Compliance is a massive criteria, which is often overlooked. And so we'd use the tender bid itself and the tender document to actually structure things in a way that showed, hey, this is how this particular business is different, and how not only is it different, but you've got more certainty of achieving these objectives that you want, and building that into a very, very succinct story that showed that we could do that. And they had tremendous success with that, because those elements stood out. It was very sharp, very to the point, but it was focused on educating the client in the tender bid, educating the client on things that they might not have seen before. And that was part of that uniqueness we brought. There was how to create something that stood out, that got that message across very quickly, and we're quite successful at it. So that's one solution you can do as well, is educate the client in your tender bid out as to what are the key criteria they need. How can
Mm.
people learn more about how, or engineers learn more about how we can help them, Peter?
Yeah, we'd be very keen to talk to you about how you can grow profitable fee income in your firm. Our contact details at the end of the video. You can reach out to Damien or I. Our website there too. You can find out more about Next Gen X Professional for engineers. We'd love to talk to you and help you understand how you can profit from understanding more about that difference that makes a difference.